Greetings, fellow Earthlings. Today is December 9th, 2024, and this is episode 46 of MindMosaic, and it is our second exploration into the world of philosophy. Last episode, we talked about sort of this holistic synthesis of the one truth of many names, and finding that truth through the inquisitive exploration of both yourself, the world around you, finding common threads, and recognizing the patterns that underpin the various intellectual, physical, spiritual, and emotional structures of existence. So the goal with today is to take all of that esoteric, all of those philosophical ponderings, and to kind of apply them to a more personal and actionable, I'd say, handbook, maybe, that will sort of allow you to have some context as to how you can integrate this knowledge into your own life and what does it mean for your own life as just a person in society. It's no secret that we live in a world of hyper specialization. People file into niches in terms of their career paths. The more specific, the better. Riches are in the niches, people say. But there's, I think, in this world of specialization, we have sort of overlooked the generalist or the jack of all trades. Now, the origin of this term is a phrase which the complete version of it is a jack of all trades is a master of none, but still oftentimes better than a master of one. And it's interesting how over time we've kind of neglected that later half of that phrase in favor of the misleading first half of it when said in isolation, which points towards this idea that being a jack of all trades implies that you won't have any kind of expertise in any specific field. And while this is true to an extent, it completely misses the actual value and the contribution that the generalist provides. It is not hyper specialized skills, it is holistic synthesis, which the generalist provides. So before we dive too deep into what it means to be a generalist, I want to preface this whole topic with a little rant about content. We live in a world that is oversaturated by content. We are bombarded with it at every turn. Content, advertisement, opinions, this, that. So many different forms of content that's all entering our brain. The mind becomes addicted to content for its own sake. And in the case of the mind, it's not just external content that satisfies this craving. It is ideation, rumination, and thoughts in general. The mind can actually become addicted to thoughts. So the first step, I think, in sort of entering into this polymathic state of being a generalist, of being able to make connections and weave the bridges that connect various seemingly diverse fields, the first step is to become comfortable with no content. To be able to sit in the silence is how you gain the opportunity to speak through the noise. This is where practices like meditation come into play, self-reflection. This is the process of sitting in the silence of no content and being able to recognize that no content is kind of our natural state. Being able to see that our thoughts, our beliefs, our ideas are just layers of our identity. They are tools. They are not truths. It is within this clarity of silence that the generalist becomes a multi-dimensional creative thinker, able to dynamically and fluidly move between disciplines, unbound by the rigidity of set, specific labels and career definitions and identifications. The generalist is able to swim up and down and in between these boxes. This is our superpower of adaptability as generalists, as jacks of all trades. It is this adaptive Darwinian aspect that allows us to survive in many niches. Maybe not excelling, but excelling when it comes to seeing how they fit together, excelling when it comes to understanding, perceiving, and being able to work with the collective, the holistic synthesis of how multiple things fit together, rather than having this hyper specialized knowledge or skill set. This is a general knowledge and skill set that applies to the interconnectedness, that applies to the intermediary scaffolding that connects one thing to the other. Now, this is such a superpower. There's so many levels to this. This is what I think the true definition of master of none means. It is not to be a master of nothing, but it is also not to be a master of one thing. It is to be a master of the in-between, a master of the structure that binds seemingly separate things together. And this is an invisible thing. It is like dark matter, holding galaxies together, and yet not visible, not shining like a star, not spinning and turning like a planet. It is this invisible thing. This is what grants the generalist their multi-dimensional liquid skill set, and it is what allows them to make connections and see the solutions and ideas that would be invisible to someone locked within a specific field. This makes their perspective broader, their thinking more adaptable, and their solutions often more innovative, because they are able to see how pieces fit together across seemingly unrelated domains. And this idea of being able to find those bridges is where true innovation comes from. Think of the polymaths of the Renaissance. Think of historical innovators like Steve Jobs, who found the intersections of things like technology and design, of science and art, and being able to fuse those through this poetic, harmonizing thing that can only be done from that in-between space. You need to have a hand in both worlds in order to marry them together and to say, hey, look, there is some common ground here that can be explored. New things can be created. So this is what the generalist does. It's about illuminating this holistic synthesis, being able to find the common threads between things, and then inhabit those hybrid domains, and being able to create those hybrid domains, being able to sort of alchemize different fields together, and being able to create entirely novel things out of that sort of chemistry that you're doing with ideas, with fields, with skills, with wisdom, with knowledge, all of that coming together and being able to birth something entirely new, entirely novel from that alchemy. This is something that is attained through things like meditation, through practices that allow you to detach yourself from your thoughts, from the content of your mind and the world. And being able to have that space, have that separation, is what allows you to explore, to find the commonalities between distinct domains, and being able to weave them together and create something entirely new. It is the emptiness, it is the space of contentlessness, of being free from any specific identification with any specific idea or any specific characteristic or label that you choose to identify yourself with. As in, I'm a carpenter, or I'm a computer engineer, I'm a software engineer. It's like these things are labels, and in order to truly be a generalist, you have to kind of relinquish those labels and be able to let go of them and inhabit a domain that is labelless. And our society is kind of rigged against that, because you obviously have this sort of traumatic hang up on this idea of not being a contributing member of society. And so that is the sort of diminishing quality of this phrase that has sort of been hijacked, jack of all trades, which was once originally a positive thing, has been sort of mutated into this thing that is a warhorse for capitalism, as opposed to something that exposes its areas of improvement, which is what I'm trying to do here through sort of bringing this to light. I think really just to sort of have this brief moment of just communication, I think the main thing that I'm trying to stress here is sort of twofold, and it's that passion, talent, and skill are three completely intrinsically intertwined things, and they precede each other. They precede and follow each other. A person is not born with talent. Talent is not some intrinsic gift that a lucky few are sort of randomly given the opportunity, assigned the opportunity to possess, to experience. Talent is something that is acquired through life experience, through passion. Passion is the harbinger of skill. And I'm pretty sure that means it precedes it. If it doesn't, then I mean some other word. And then talent is the harbinger. Wait, no. Talent is the byproduct of skill, and skill is the byproduct of passion. In order to become talented in any area, you must first love it. You must love it. You must love doing it, and then you will do it, and then you will develop skill. That is what becomes talent. Talent is something that you love. It's what happens when you love something. When people say to like a 6-year-old kid who's really good at like piano or singing or something, they say, "Oh my God, you're so talented." But that kid wasn't born with that talent. That kid just loves music for whatever reason, because of its memories, because of its even like pre-birth memories. Maybe even it could have some like relationship to music. That is the origin of talent. It's not some like magical thing where you either have it or you don't. It's something that is acquired through dedication and through passion. Passion is like the most important thing when it comes to talent. So that's the first thing I wanted to sort of mention for you to sort of allow to sink into your brain, as like what I'm trying to get at with that is like, I feel like we're always told like, oh, you have to be this or you have to be that. And you have to do what you're good at. You have to do what you're talented at. If you are good at playing the piano, you have to become a musician because it's what you're talented at. And this is something that you don't choose. It's something you're born with. It's like a predisposition. It's a predefined set of traits, a set of skills. It's kind of like the movie Soul. But it's not that. It really isn't. We just have passion, and that passion can be directed towards whatever. And that passion, given time, will eventually develop into talent. So don't worry about having to pick one specific domain, because talent is something that comes naturally through passion. It's not something that is inherent to you. It's not something that is fixed. It is absolutely transmutable. And knowing that, I think, will sort of give you some levity and allow you to begin to detach from this content, whether it's your belief that you need to play piano in order to be successful, or that you don't have talent, that you're a talentless person. I think that's something that I've faced, and that's something that a lot of people face and have to sort of come to terms with. But it's not true. It's just it's a misunderstanding of what talent actually is and where it comes from. And so I think being able to understand that should hopefully grant you the levity to be able to step back from the obsession with the identity and be able to actually pour your self, your vital nature, into whatever is most meaningful to you. And that, I think, is what it means to be a generalist, truly is that detachment. It's being able to be detached from even the idea of being a generalist and just being able to devote yourself to whatever you think is most important, whatever you think is most meaningful, whatever you think will have the most impact, whatever you love, and just being engaged in that, being with that, and just doing it. And then the second thing I want to say, just like sort of face to face, just like a quick thing, the art of cross-pollination is real. And cross-disciplinary cross-pollination is where we get the coolest, most innovative, most groundbreaking, most avant-garde, awesome stuff. So that is like the main benefit of I think the opportunity for generalists to sort of come out of the woodwork and be able to express themselves fully as they are in their full polymathic identity, their multidimensional identity. These people being able to actually be recognized and be seen for, you know, what they are, and be able to be appreciated for the value that they can contribute, will allow people who are maybe uncertain or unsure of their own polymathic ability to step forward, to step into the light, and to be able to actually provide the gifts that they have the potential to bring into existence, right? So I think it's just about like being able to sort of create space for that, to say that there is space for people who don't fit the mold to have a place in society, because we're the weavers. Those of us who don't fit in a mold are the we dance between the molds, and that is to be the outlier, to be the wild card, to be something different, to be something that creates change. Like Kanye West, when he said he was the glitch from Wreck-It Ralph, as hilarious as that is, that's what it means to be a generalist. It's to break the mold, to break the mold and to create something new, and to switch up the game, you know? Or the glitch in Spider-Man, how, or he's not a glitch, but he's an anomaly, right? Miles Morales is an anomaly. He doesn't belong. And yet that's what makes him like the most powerful Spider-Man, because he's got the electricity and stuff. He's got like that X factor. And the electricity, like, it sort of has this multi-dimensional aspect to it. And he can turn invisible too, so he's got all these other powers because of that. That's such a rant. I think what I just want you to take home with you and really let this just process in your brain is that you are this. You are a generalist waiting to be unveiled. Beneath the layers of beliefs, of opinions, of these rigid identity structures that we carry, beneath all of that lies a brilliant, creative, curious, capable, adaptable, resilient, amazing being. This thing, this creative spirit, it's within you. And it's there, it's waiting. It is something that is unburdened by the shackles of political or religious doctrine. It is something that just is waiting to flourish, something that is waiting to create, to be experienced in all of its beautiful glory. That is what is within you. And all it takes is to just step outside of the disguise, to step outside of the idea that you are this one person, that you are a carpenter, that you are this, that you are that you are these labels. Because really, you aren't these labels. And what you are is so much more than anything that could be described with any label. The only way that you can truly describe yourself is by letting yourself be seen. And that is something that speaks louder than words, because it is seen through the impact that you have, the lives that you change. And that is something that is so powerful. and it inspires others. It spreads like a love virus or something, like seeds, like spores or something. The seeds of inspiration, the seeds of impact. That's what's within you, and it's there. It's waiting. This is when we create the most beautiful and important things that change the world forever. It is when we release the pressure to conform, to fit into a narrow mold. And it is when we reject that mold, and it is when we were saying, my borders extend beyond this mold. My borders extend beyond the edges of everything. I cannot be contained within a set of descriptive words. The only way that I can be perceived is if I am perceived directly. This is what it means to become a master of none itself, the space in between. It is not about lacking skills, but it is about transcending and rejecting the limitations of specialization. It is about embracing curiosity, adaptability, and the art of synthesis. It is about becoming a weaver of worlds, the creator who can see the unity in diversity and who is capable of creating something extraordinary. That's you.